Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I will be talking about a very touchy subject for me and my family. As some of you may know, I have three kids, a set of twins and a 3-year-old. And recently my life has changed. On March 1st, 2018, I lost my baby boy to SIDS. I woke up at about 6 a.m. and every morning when I wake up, I roll over to check on the babies to make sure they're okay and breathing because they were preemies, 33 weeks, and they had breathing problems. And so I rolled over and I checked on him, and I thought he was just maybe like sleeping really hard because he was a really hard sleeper and he slept all the time. But I rolled over and I looked at him and he didn't seem right. He was really stiff, and so I like panicked and got into panic mode, and I grabbed him really fast, and I looked at him and I was like, oh my god, he's not breathing. And so then I started doing CPR on him, and my husband was still asleep and the other two kids were still asleep. And then I started screaming for my mother-in-law to come and help me. And it was really early in the morning, so I didn't know if she was awake. So I ran out into the living room and with the baby in my hand, I was like, I don't think he's breathing. So then I gave her the baby and she went into her mom's room and started doing CPR, and I had went in the other room and called the ambulance. I called 911. They came in about 2 minutes. They looked at him and they're like, we have to rush him to a children's hospital. So they took him. My other two kids stayed at home with their great grandma, and me, my husband, and my mother-in-law went to the hospital behind the ambulance. And from the time I got into the car, I kind of had a really bad feeling because the ambulance wasn't like, the paramedics were there for like a half a second. They walked into the house, they looked at him, and they immediately knew that it was time to take him to the hospital. So I had a really bad feeling in the car, but we just started praying and we were like, it's in God's hands, everything happens for a reason, like, I hope he's okay. Then they started crying, but it kind of wasn't hitting me what was going on. I was in a state of shock. And so then we got to the hospital. They took my baby into a room. We weren't allowed in there. From what we did see before we had to get out of the room, is they cut his clothes off of him. And I don't know what they did after that because they told us that we had to get out. But they did whatever they had to do. I know that they hooked up breathing machines because they told us. They worked on him for about 2 hours, and then they came out, and then, by then there was like some guy from, like, I guess the hospital has a person that every time someone dies that they come and talk to them. So that guy was there talking to us and like preparing us, and then we had detectives and we had police officers and we had like 5 or 6 nurses. It was a lot of people that came and talked to us. And then from there I'm like, oh god, this is the worst thing that could possibly ever happen to me. But then they were like, we tried everything that we could. Unfortunately, there was nothing for us to do. He's gone. And from then, I just felt broken and like, I don't know, like I lost a piece of me because that was my baby boy. He was the middle child. His other twin is younger. It's a baby girl. But I just felt really broken. He was such a happy baby. He was the stronger twin. He was, I don't know, amazing. He was a good baby. And he was only 3 months old. No, he was 4 months. He was 4 months old. So then they asked us if we wanted to see him one last time before they do like a complete autopsy to see like what happened. And I was like, Not really. That's definitely not how I want to see him. I mean, I was holding him and he was gone in my arms. I kind of don't want to see him. But I gathered myself together and I went and saw him, and he just, I don't know, he just, it was sad. It was really sad. That's the hardest thing, is to see your baby dead. I'm just going to say that. It's the hardest thing in the world. So then we had to go to a room and we had to talk to a detective and to the medical examiner and tell them what happened. And it was mainly me talking because the night before, well, it was like the same morning around like 4 a.m., both twins were up. They were up partying, I swear. They were like laughing and just being silly. They were really hyper at that time. And then I told them that I fed them, I burped them, and I put them both to sleep. And about 2 hours later, I woke up. I felt like I had been pulled up. Like, I felt like something yanked me and got me up, because I never wake up at 6 a.m. My baby slept until about 9:30. 6 a.m. is a very odd time for me to wake up. So I felt like something woke me up. And so I told them that, and they took everything down, everything that I said, and they're like, okay, we'll do pictures for you, perform a full autopsy, and let you know what happens. And so it was hard. At that point, I was just like, okay, I just want to go home. I need to see my other babies and make sure they're okay, because I saw them that day, but I didn't. They were both still asleep when I left the house. So I just wanted to go home. I was done with it. I was confused. I was upset. I was hurt. I was angry. Like, you would never think that you never think that it could happen to you. You always see stories about people losing their kids to SIDS and this, that, and the third, but you never really think that it could happen to you until it happens. And that's how I felt. I was really confused. Like, why is my baby gone? What did I do? So it took some time, and then for a couple of days after that, the next couple of days after he passed, well, the same day that he passed, let's just talk, it was me and my husband's moving day into our apartment. So that was really hard because we wasn't going to move anything that day, but we had furniture people coming, we had cable people coming, we had a whole lot of people coming to the apartment, so we had to do it. So that was really hard, having to move everything into our apartment the same day that our kid passed. But in a way it helped because it kept us busy so that we wouldn't sit around and cry all day, even though that's kind of really what we did. We sat and cried. Yeah, after that we had a lot of investigators we had to talk to, a lot of different people that we had to talk to, just because it was an infant death. There's a lot of people that get involved with that. I'm not going to go into detail with that because that's a little personal. But, yeah, that was probably the hardest day of my life. It's still pretty hard for me. About a couple weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, not even a month, about 3 weeks ago, I finally went through my twin's clothing, and I took his stuff out and put it in a box. I'm not gonna throw it away. I'm gonna make a memory box for some of his outfits that he wore, and then some of his other clothing we'll probably just donate, because it was a lot of brand new clothing. He was only here for 4 months. But I would like to say I'm very thankful that he's here, that I got to see him. I'm thankful that he did make it 4 months, because I had a really rough pregnancy. I had preeclampsia. I had a really tough delivery, and honestly, from the beginning, they didn't think that the twins were going to make it. So I'm really thankful that I did get to parent him for the 4 months that I did. I'm thankful that his older brother got to see him. I'm thankful that he spent 4 months outside of the womb with his younger sister. I'm very thankful and blessed that I was able to, that we were able to take care of him for the 4 months, because he wasn't, they didn't think he was going to live. But for anyone that goes through something similar, I would say my advice to you would be to pray. Keep God number one, because it is a rough time. It is the hardest thing that you would ever experience in life. But just continue praying. Keep your family close. Don't talk about the situation until you're ready to talk about it. Don't let anyone force you into talking about it. I learned that. At first, when I had to tell people, you know, I live far away from my family. My family lives in one state. I live in another state. When I had to call and tell my family, it was the hardest thing in the world because we had only been in Texas for like 2 months before they saw him. Like, when, you know, when he was born, I lived with my family, and I had moved 2 months after they were born. So calling my family was really hard. But after I told my immediate family what happened, I really didn't want to talk about the situation until I was ready to talk about it. And now I feel like I'm stronger. I'm in a place where I can actually talk about my experience, and maybe it will help somebody else. Counseling is another great thing. Talk to counselors, talk to friends. Don't sit and try to deal with the situation by yourself, because it's really hard, number one, and dealing with it by yourself is really hard. Continue keeping yourself active. I used to like sit around in the house and not wanting to do anything. Even though I knew I had 2 other kids, I really didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to sit and cry and cry and cry and cry and cry. But my baby boy was too happy. He was a happy baby. He wouldn't want me to sit around crying. I mean, it's very hard, but everything happens for a reason. And he's in a better place. And I know that my baby is with his sister. Ever since he passed, his sister acts just like him. Like, they were completely opposite. He was the happy, quiet baby. She was the more fussy, sassy baby. And now she's happy. She smiles. She's quiet. She sleeps throughout the whole night. She's really good. So I know he's with his sister. It's really hard trying to explain it to a toddler what happened. But I just say, you know, your brother's sleeping and you'll see him another time. But right now he's sleeping in heaven with God. But yeah, don't try to go through it by yourself. It gets easier. It's now May, and the whole month of March was hard. But April, I got pretty strong. April, the end of April, I was really strong. I'm able to talk about it now and, you know, let everyone know it's okay. It's okay to cry. Don't let anyone judge you. It's okay to cry. It's normal to cry. But, yeah, I just keep myself busy because I have to continue telling myself, you know, I have 2 other kids. I have to be okay and well for them. It sucks that I lost my baby, but I know he's here with us, and I have to continue my days with my other 2 kids. And that might sound bad, but I'm not saying it in a bad way. I just can't sit around and be in bed all day when I have 2 other small kids that need my attention. But yeah, it's okay to cry. It's normal. But yeah, that's pretty much my story. It was very short and basic. I kind of didn't want to get into too much detail because I didn't want to like start tearing up, and that was mainly the basics. I lost my son to SIDS. It sucks. It's very common. I didn't realize how common it was until it happened to me, but it's very common in the world. But if anyone else is going through something like that, just talk to someone that you trust. Talk to someone that won't go out and tell everyone what you tell them, because it's gonna be okay. It's gonna take time, but it will be okay. I still have my days where I'll like shed a tear and I'm like, oh my God, I miss him. But I also have my days where I'm really strong and I get up and I'm active and I, you know. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and give you guys a short story on how I lost my baby boy to SIDS. But yeah, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys like it. If you do, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe down below and leave a comment. My name is Jessica, and I'm signing out.